Diwali, the festival of lights, is being celebrated across India and in different parts of the world. But in the city of Ayodhya, the birthplace of Lord Ram, a one-of-a-kind ceremony is held on the eve of the festival. It celebrates the return of a victorious Lord Ram after defeating demon king Ravan. And this year, the ceremony had a special guest. Kim Jong-suk, the First Lady of South Korea, was in Ayodhya attending the grand celebrations on the occasion of the eve of Diwali. Over 1 million lamps adorned the banks of river Saryu, where the Deepotsav ceremony, as it's called, was held. The Uttar Pradesh government hopes to earn a place in the Guinness Book of World Records with this special ceremony. Kim Jong-suk, along with the Chief Minister of the state, held an aarti or a prayer on the banks of the river. Kim Jong-suk attended the ceremony of the Queen Hu Memorial Park earlier today. She spoke about the ties between the two countries and hoped for a flourishing relationship for years to come.
If we light lamps together, we can overcome darkness. I pray that every house where a lamp is lit, there is presence of Goddess Lakshmi, and may her blessings be with you. I pray that the friendship between India and South Korea, which is decades old, flourishes and both countries progress together.
But why is the First Lady of South Korea in Ayodhya, you may ask? This is the first time when a foreign dignitary attended the Diwali celebrations. That is because the temple town holds a special place in the hearts of many South Koreans. There is a legend behind that. Many South Koreans believe that they can trace their ancestry back to the city of Ayodhya. This belief coming from several historical texts narrating the story of a Princess Suriratna from the city of Ayodhya who traveled to Korea some 2,000 years ago and married a South Korean king, Kim Suro. Princess Suriratna became Queen Hyeowangok after that wedding. King Suro is the founder of the Korean kingdom of Karak. According to legends, the couple lived to the age of 150 years. Historians say descendants of the couple number more than 6 million, which is roughly about 10% of South Korea's population. South Korea-India ties are deep-rooted. The foundation-laying ceremony for a memorial for Queen Hyeowangok was also held in the city today. It is election day in the United States. Polling has begun in the midterm elections. Vermont was the first U.S. state to open its polling stations. Polling also began in New York and Kentucky. It is the first time that America is heading to polls since Donald Trump's entry into the White House. More than 35 million voters have already cast their votes in the early polls on Monday. This year's number easily eclipses that of 2014, when less than 20 million early voters had gone to the polling stations on the day before the midterm elections. Majorities in both houses of the U.S. legislature, the House of Representatives and the Senate, hang in balance. The major focus of the Republican Party's campaign was immigration. As for the Democrats, it was healthcare-related issues, among others. Barack Obama spearheaded the Democratic Party's campaign. According to some opinion polls, Democrats could fare well in the House of Representatives. Remember, they need to flip 23 seats to secure the majority in the lower house of the legislature. History says midterm elections to the House of Representatives have almost mostly gone against the incumbent party. For the Democrats, it could help that Trump's approval ratings are low. But the picture is not the same in the Senate, the upper house of the U.S. legislature. It may be difficult for the Democrats to wrest the Senate in spite of the fact that the Republicans are only holding a slim 51-49 majority. If the Democrats manage to win back at least one of the two houses, it could significantly impact the Trump government. First, the Democrats would be able to block legislations proposed by Donald Trump. And secondly, investigations could also be launched on a variety of matters. Let's go straight across now to Simon Marks, our correspondent, joining us live from Washington, D.C. for more on that. Hi, Simon. Clearly, a lot of issues have dominated election season this year. But if you can help our viewers understand the key issues running on voters' minds as they vote in this midterm election.
Well, I think inevitably the economy is a key issue for many voters, and the White House hopes that that is Donald Trump's strong suit. After all, the economic recovery here has continued throughout the first 20 or so months of his presidency. And we saw just last week very, very positive jobs numbers that the president could have been pointing to on the campaign trail. I say could have been pointing to because in large measure he chose instead to talk about that issue of immigration, with the caravan of Latin American immigrants very slowly heading towards the United States. He, of course, insists that an invasion is imminent, and he's deployed 7,000 troops to the US border with Mexico to head it off, even though it's going to be weeks before those migrants actually reach the US border, if they ever get that close to the United States. So the president made a decision to create a real straw man with that rhetoric, and what he's trying to do is deliver turnout of his core supporters in these midterm elections today. And certainly what we're witnessing here just over the last few hours since polling opened here on the east coast of the United States is long queues, large voter turnout. But the problem with all of that is we simply don't know how to interpret it.
Indeed, but we can also at this point interpret what the opinion polls have been telling us all throughout. Let's start off with what the initial indicators so far have been, Simon.
Well, so the opinion polls suggest that the Democrats can expect to take control of the House of Representatives up on Capitol Hill. As you said, they need to win at least 23 seats from the Republicans in order to turn control over from the Republicans to the Democrats. And the polls suggest that that is likely to occur. In the US Senate, they've got a much tougher road ahead of them. That's partly because only 1/3 of the Senate is up for grabs right now, and the seats that are being contested don't necessarily favour the Democrats. They have some hopes. There are a lot of eyes on the race down in Texas, where Senator Ted Cruz, you remember him from the 2016 presidential election, the man dismissed at the time by President Trump as Lion Ted. He is locked in a knife-edge race with a young populist firebrand Democrat by the name of Beto O'Rourke. So I think we're going to be keeping a close eye on that to see whether that race helps the Democrats take control of the Senate. But that road is a tougher one for them to climb. Were they to win control of the House of Representatives, they would clearly view that as a victory, because it will give them the opportunity to put a spanner in Donald Trump's works for the next couple of years and begin, if they choose to, impeachment proceedings against him.
Indeed, interesting campaign that has been a divisive one, as many have called it, on part of Donald Trump's team. But the next few hours are crucial for him and for the United States of America. We'll, of course, keep coming back to you, Simon, for further updates as the day progresses. Thanks very much for now.